Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message. I present to you the Lesbian Detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. This is a brand new episode on a brand new day. I hope you all had a fantastic time. Thank you all for coming back each week to listen to our little podcast. Or if it's your first time, please tell us how we did. Tell your friend that you in love with this new podcast that calls Lesbian Detective. Send them along.
I had a great weekend. I was able to hang out with some friends, get some good food. We did Korean barbecue and hot pot. I wasn't a big fan of the hot pot, but overall it was 10 out of 10. Then we went to the casinos, gambled a little bit. I ain't crazy like that. I got a budget. But we ate some desserts. It was necessary. It was something that I had been wanting to do for a while now.
She had her little night out.
And I enjoyed it.
We both as a couple were like, sometimes we just need a night out with our friends. So like each month, probably not every month per se, we will go out with one of our friend groups. So this time it was her turn. I have nothing planned this month with my friends. So I have book club, but I really don't count that as going out. We just get coffee and talk books. So that's different. Well, let's get into the episode. Today's case is about a woman who vanished without a trace from a quiet suburban home tucked behind an unusual tall private fence. Her sudden silence is booming. No calls, no texts, no online posts, just gone. Those closest to her refuse to believe she just left by choice. They remember her as a vibrant, social, and loyal person, not someone who would simply walk away. But inside the home she shared with another, stories begin to shift. A suitcase is found, discarded in a gas station dumpster, filled with the missing woman's most personal belongings, family photographs, even a death certificate of someone she once loved deeply. Why would anyone throw that away? Inside the house, something doesn't sit right. It's messy, chaotic. But the bathroom, spotless, bleach scrubbed, as if something needed to be erased. Soon after, someone is spotted sprinting through the woods behind the house, covered in mud, frantic, panic. When questioned, the story is strange. Something about intruders and hiding behind the trees. But nothing adds up. Police are called. A missing person report is filed. But within days, the case is closed. They said she probably just left. No foul play. Still, those who knew her best refused to stop searching. A confrontation happens, then denials, conflict stories, accusations, secrets. A tip leads the authorities to a distant field, miles away. They search, they hope, but the land offered no answers. The case is reopened, the home is searched, dozens of animals removed, and one person became the focus of the investigation. But without a body, without evidence, justice remained out of reach. And so, a home surrounded by a fence still holds its silence. And the woman behind the walls, she swears she knows nothing. But the whispers in the neighborhood tell a different story. This is a case of Lisa Lynn Stone. Lisa Lynn Stone came into the world on September 3rd, 1958, in the heart of Texas, where the sky stretches endlessly and the summer heats hum like a constant lullaby. Born in Dallas area, Lisa was one of 4 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister, and her early years were wrapped in the comfort of a loving, tight-knit family. The Stones weren't flashy or wealthy, but they had each other. That bond, that closeness, will become a thread Lisa clung to throughout her life, especially when the thread began to unravel. Lisa wasn't just another girl growing up in Dallas. She was something special. Even in her teenage year, there was a glow about her. In the late 1970s, at Mesquite High School, where Friday night football was religious and the drill team was royalty, Lisa was a star. Blonde and full of energy, she danced with a lightness that made people watch and remember her. Her laugh, it said, could fill a room, and her spirit had a way of pulling people in. Those years on the drill team weren't just about pom-poms and halftime routine. They were a foundation of lifelong friendship. Lisa had a way of making people feel seen, even in a crowded room. Her high school friends would go on and form a sort of sisterhood that followed her for decades, through joy and sorrow, through loss and love. And Lisa would know both. As her friends moved into adulthood, Lisa began to shift under the weight of a heartbreak. Her beloved sister was killed in a tragic car accident, a blow that hit the entire family but shattered Lisa's spirit in a way words cannot capture. Not long after, her brother passed away from AIDS during a time when the diagnosis carried not just fear but stigma. He and Lisa had shared a quiet bond, one layer with unspoken understanding. Lisa too had come out as gay, a fact that especially in those days required courage. Still, she pressed on. In the 1990s, Lisa walked into a nightclub in Dallas one night. A simple decision, just another evening out, but fate was waiting. It was there when she met Sherry, a woman who became her partner for the next 15 years. According to Sherry, that connection was instant. Lisa had an effect on people. Her warmth, her laughter, the way she listened. Before long, they were inseparable. For a while, life settled into something similar to stability, but the shadow never stayed away for long. Lisa's mother was diagnosed with cancer. Lisa stayed by her side through the illness, watching her as the woman who raised her slipped away. And then, in 2005, the final pillar in her family, her father, a retired police officer she has always leaned on, passed away. He had been her anchor. His death left her unanchored. That same year, she lost her job in newspaper ad sales. Lisa, once so full of life, was unraveling quickly, piece by piece. Despite everything, she tried to keep her chin up. Lisa had inherited a family home in Trexelo Drive, a useful amount of money, nearly $300K from her family estate. It should have been enough to offer her a cushion, a fresh start. But by 2010, that money was almost entirely gone. Some say Sherry spent it all. Others claim Lisa did. The truth still unclear. Like so many things in this story, what is clear is that Lisa began to struggle financially, emotionally, spiritually. Her friends knew. They saw it in the long texts, the occasionally tearful call. But Lisa was proud, and she downplayed her pain. When she said she was broke, her friends didn't hesitate. They lent her money, no questions asked. Still, something was changing. In early 2010, one friend met Lisa for lunch. During their meal, Lisa could find that her relationship with Sherry wasn't going well. There were problems, tension. The friend urged her to leave, told her she deserved better, but Lisa didn't take her advice. She went home to the house she and Sherry shared, the house she had inherited, surrounded by a tall private fence that kept the outside world at bay. And then, suddenly, Lisa disappeared. On June the 4th, 2010, Lisa spoke with her neighbor, a woman she regularly helped. Lisa told her she'd be back tomorrow to take out the trash, just like she always did. See you tomorrow, she said with a smile, but tomorrow never came. The next day, it was Sherry who showed up at the neighbor door. This was odd. Sherry has never spoken much to the neighbor, but now she was on the phone saying Lisa couldn't come over. An emergency gallbladder surgery. She claimed Lisa was in the hospital. She will be out of commission for a while. The neighbor was concerned, of course, but grateful Sherry had stepped in. She didn't question it at all. But as days passed and Lisa remained out of sight, the concern grew into something heavier, something darker. Lisa was an active presence online, Facebook especially. She posted daily, commented constantly, and now silence, a digital vanishing act. Her friends noticed. They started checking in with another. Have you heard from Lisa? Has she called? The answer was always the same. No, nothing, not a word. One of them finally reached out to Sherry directly. Where was Lisa? She left town, Sherry said casually. Just needed a break. No clarification, no concern. It didn't sit right. Lisa's friends had known her since they were teenagers. She didn't just vanish. She didn't just leave without a single word. Not to them. As the days turned to weeks, that uneasiness turned into alarm. They began digging, asking questions, visiting the home. They said they were invited in by Sherry one evening, told that Lisa was due home any moment and they could wait. Sherry ordered pizza. They stayed for an hour, but Lisa never walked through that door. Sherry now claimed that entire story is fiction, that no friends came over, that no such even ever happened. But something else happened that no one could ignore. As the long Texas summer rolled on, so did the silence. No phone call, no text, no updates on Facebook where Lisa once shared her thoughts, her favorite songs, or photos with friends. The woman who couldn't go a day without checking in had vanished into complete radio silence. And the more time passed, the more her friends couldn't ignore the gnawing feelings in their guts. Lisa Stone was not just away. Something was terribly wrong. They pleaded with the police. They made calls. They kept pushing, but officials' response was lukewarm at best. Law enforcement intentionally dismissed the concerns. No signs of foul play, no physical evidence of a crime. Lisa was an adult. After all, they said she probably just left on her own, but the people who knew her best weren't buying that for a second. Lisa wouldn't have left her beloved pets behind. She wouldn't have disappeared without her purse, her ID, her car. She wouldn't have walked away from her life and left behind the woman she shared everything with since high school. And she certainly wouldn't have left her memories, her entire past, in a dumpster. On July the 2nd, just shy of a month since Lisa was last seen, one of her closest friends decided to take matters into her own hands. She was tired of waiting, tired of being dismissed. So she got in her car, drove to the house, hoping for answers, or maybe just hoping to catch a glimpse of Sherry. What she saw stopped her cold there. At a red light was Sherry behind the wheel of Lisa's car. Something about this felt deeply wrong. Sherry had told them that Lisa had left. So why was she driving her car? She didn't think. She acted. The friend followed the car through the streets of Dallas into a nearby neighborhood and finally to a small 7-Eleven convenience store. Sherry pulled behind the store toward the dumpster, trying not to be seen. Lisa's friend park at a gas pump and watch.
She saw Sherry exit the vehicle, walk to the dumpster, and tossed in what looked like household items, small baskets, and then something else, a small suitcase. And then Sherry drove away. Once the coast was clear, the friend approached the dumpster. She didn't know what she expected to find, but what she did find made her heart slam against her chest. Inside the suitcase were pieces of Lisa's life: her birth certificate, family photographs, personal papers, even the death certificate of her late brother. Thrown out like trash. It was like standing at the edge of a cliff, staring into the void. For Lisa's friends, this wasn't just suspicious. This was horrifying. Why would anyone, especially a partner, throw away such deeply personal items if Lisa was simply away? With the suitcase in hand, Lisa's friends marched straight to the Dallas Police Department. They placed the evidence on the table and demanded that someone, anyone, take them seriously. The suitcase was the first crack in the story Sherry had been spinning, and when the police reopened the case, the cracks began to widen. Neighbors began to talk. Lisa's next-door neighbor, Susan, who had known her well, came forward with troubling observations. The day Sherry had claimed Lisa went to the hospital for gallbladder surgery, Susan never saw Lisa leave. And something else. Sherry's hands, normally clean, were red and raw, as though from heavy scrubbing with bleach or chemicals. The inside of the house, Susan would later say, was cluttered and messy, except the bathroom. That room, oddly, was immaculate, like it had been scrubbed obsessively. The police started looking harder now. They questioned Sherry again. Why hadn't she reported Lisa missing? Why hadn't she contacted Lisa's friends or family when she allegedly left? Sherry's answer was simple. I didn't think she was missing. She told investigators Lisa had become deeply depressed, strung out on drugs, even dabbing in cocaine. She claimed Lisa had spiraled after losing her money and just walked away. Lisa's friends were stunned. Yes, they knew she had been down. Yes, they had loaned her money. But cocaine? That was never Lisa. This was not the woman they knew. That story, they insisted, was Sherry rewriting history. And there was one more thing. Not long after the suitcase incident, another bizarre moment raised even more suspicion. A neighbor spotted a figure running through the woods behind the Truxillo house. It was a woman, mud-covered, disheveled, frantically moving through the thick brush near the creek behind the home. She looked frightened, wild-eyed. It was Sherry. When the police questioned her, she admitted it. She says she thought people were stalking her, that she'd seen shadows near the house, thought someone was watching. She ran into the woods, hid behind the trees, convinced she saw the blinds move inside the home. To Lisa's friends, it was just one more strange, erratic move in the story that no longer made sense. Police searched the area near the creek. They scoured it, but they didn't find Lisa. They didn't find anything. Not then, and not in July, when an anonymous tip led investigators to search a grassy field in Hunt County, about 45 miles away. Again, no leads, no trace. Nothing that could point to where Lisa had gone. The house on Truxillo Drive held more secrets. After a wellness check, animal control was called to the property. What they found stunned even them. Over 24 cats and several dogs living in squalid, unsanitary conditions. The home smelled of urine and decay. The animals were removed, 26 cats and 2 dogs, by most reports. Sherry claimed they were all Lisa's. It painted a troubling picture. A house falling apart from the inside, a woman gone without a trace, and the only person left inside insisting everything was fine. Even when confronted with the past, like a 1995 conviction for fraud and forgery, where Sherry had stolen $8,000 from Lisa's father's account, Sherry brushed it off. She admitted it had happened, but insisted she'd changed. She had made mistakes, yes, but this wasn't one of them. She claimed Lisa had left, voluntarily, quietly, depressed and broken. But Lisa's friends? They don't believe it. Not for a second. They remember the woman who danced with fire in her spirit, the one who held on through tragedy, who loved her friends fiercely, who wouldn't just disappear. And now they're left chasing a ghost. You can only scream into the void for so long before your voice starts to shake. That's what it felt like for Lisa Stone's friends as summer turned into fall, and fall gave way to winter. The days passed, the tips slowed, the police moved on, but the women who loved Lisa couldn't. They had grown up with her, cheered beside her on the drill team, danced with her at high school parties, held her hand when she cried. They knew every version of Lisa, from the bubbly teenager in Texas twirls to the woman who had survived loss after loss and still managed to smile through it. So no, she didn't just vanish. Lisa's friends became investigators, warriors, and watchdogs. When law enforcement seemed to step back, they stepped in. Despite the suitcase, the bizarre behavior, and the swirling contradictions, there was one simple fact that kept the case stuck in neutral. There was no body, no blood, no clear-cut evidence of a crime. Police told Lisa's friends their hands were tied. The case technically was open, but it wasn't active. Sherry remained the sole person of interest, but without proof, without a definite link to foul play, there was nowhere for the justice system to go. For Lisa's friends, it was infuriating. She wouldn't leave like that, they said again and again. She loved us. She loved her pets. She had plans. What's more, the way Sherry responded to Lisa's disappearance made no sense. She wasn't distraught. She wasn't combing the streets. She wasn't calling hospitals or shelters or posting on social media. She wasn't even calling Lisa's friends. Instead, she was throwing away Lisa's belongings, refusing to cooperate, and eventually filing harassment charges against the very people trying to find her partner. The more Lisa's friends pushed, the more Sherry dug in. She accused them of stalking her, harassing her, breaking into her house. Sherry said they were obsessed, convinced of her guilt with no evidence. She claimed they were destroying her life. And in turn, Lisa's friends said Sherry was playing victim to distract them from the truth. Some of the group were even warned by police to back off. As the legal threats came in, the temperature rose. Sherry refused to answer further questions. She denied every claim, every story, every theory. Lisa's friends felt helpless. They were being silenced for doing what no one else would, looking. And even more disturbing, many believe Sherry was trying to rewrite Lisa's legacy, painting her as unstable, a drug user, depressed beyond reason. But the friends fought back with memories. Lisa was open about her sadness. Yes, she grieved deeply, especially after her parents died. She missed her siblings every day, but even in the pain, she showed up. She fought. She reached out. She cracked jokes, shared music, and loved fiercely. She had a light. And now, someone was trying to snuff that out and replace it with a story no one recognized. 3323 Trixillo Drive, a modest house in a working-class neighborhood, but it had one strange feature, an extra tall privacy fence that wrapped around the yard like a fortress. No one could see in, no one knew what was happening inside. That fence became a symbol of secrets, of fear, of something being hidden in plain sight. Lisa had inherited the house from her family. It was supposed to be a place of comfort, a home full of memories. But after her disappearance, it took on an eerie stillness. People driving by said the windows seemed too dark, the air too still. It was like the house itself was holding its own breath. Sherry's past started to catch up with her too. The 1995 conviction for fraud and forgery, where she wrote herself an $8,000 check from Lisa's father's account, suddenly felt less like a youthful mistake and more like a red flag. Yes, Sherry admitted it. She had done it, but she swore she had made amends. and that she and Lisa had moved on from it. Still, the question lingered. Was this a pattern? Lisa had inherited nearly $300,000. By 2010, almost all of it was gone. Sherry said Lisa spent it recklessly, but others believed Sherry had slowly siphoned it away. And once the money was gone, so was Lisa. Was this about control? Was it about finances? Or was it something deeper, something darker? No one could answer, not fully, not yet. As the years passed, Lisa's disappearance became a haunting cold case. She joined the ranks of the forgotten, one of the many missing women whose stories fade into the back page news and unanswered questions. But her friends refused to let her become a footnote. They organized vigils. They created a Facebook group, quote, Find Lisa Stone, unquote, where they shared memories, leads, and theories. They kept her name alive because someone, somewhere, knows something. And silence is complicity. Law enforcement still lists Sherry as a person of interest, but without new evidence, without a body, there's no arrest, no trial, no closure. Only a quiet ache that never fades. Lisa Stone's story isn't just a mystery. It's a wound. One that cuts deep through the heart of everyone who loved her. And while some may try to erase her, her friends hold tight to the real Lisa. The high school girl who danced in the stands. The daughter who held her father's hand in his final years. The sister who never stopped mourning. The friend who always picked up the phone. She was real. She was here. And now, she's gone. But not forgotten, never forgotten. There's a strange kind of silence in this case. A silence that feels deliberate, manufactured, held in place. And maybe, just maybe, that silence is waiting to be broken. Someone knows something, someone saw something, and someone needs to speak. Because Lisa Stone didn't just disappear, she was taken from this world, in one way or another. And stories like hers, they deserve an ending. Before we end this case, let's sit back and remember Lisa Lynn Stone. Lisa Lynn Stone wasn't just a name in a case file. She was a person, deeply loved, fiercely loyal, and unforgettable to those who knew her. Lisa was the kind of woman who lit up a room without trying. She had a natural warmth that made people feel comfortable in her presence. She was witty, full of humor, and she had a laugh that made others laugh too. Not just because it was funny, because it was genuine. In high school, she was beautiful and vibrant, a shining star on the drill team, full of spirit and charisma. But it wasn't just her looks of popularity that drew people in. It was her heart. She made friends easily, and more importantly, she kept them. She nurtured her friendships, remembered birthdays, checked in when someone was going through a hard time, and celebrated their joys as if they were her own. Lisa was strong, though life gave her more grief than one person should have to bear. She lost her sister, her brother, her mother, and eventually her father, each loss cutting deep, each one reshaping her. Yet, she never gave up on people. She didn't become cold or bitter. Instead, she stayed soft, open, and kind. That says everything about who she truly was. Her friends describe her as someone who was always there. She would pick up the phone when they needed to talk, show up when someone needed a hand. And even in the digital age, she never let time or distance make her feel far away. Her Facebook posts, her messages, there were little lifelines of connection until they stopped. And that's when her friends knew something was terribly wrong, because Lisa would never just disappear. She would never ghost the people she loved. She wasn't perfect. She had her struggles, like anyone, but she was present and she was loyal. Her disappearance left a deep wound in the hearts of those who cared about her. They were more than worried. They were heartbroken, confused, and angry. And above all, they were determined to find out what happened, determined to speak for her when she couldn't, because that's what Lisa would have done for them. Even now, years later, Lisa's friends still fight for her. They share memories, they light candles, they post photos, they demand answers. They carry her spirit in everything they do to keep her story alive. Lisa Lynn Stone was a woman who loved deeply, lived authentically, and left an imprint on everyone's life she touched. She deserved to be remembered not just for the mystery of her disappearance, but for the beauty of her existence. She mattered, she still matters, and she is missed every single day. This is the case of Lisa Lynn Stone. Now let's get into some theories.
Theories!
Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Researching through your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives.
You or me?
Go ahead.
So, when I look into this case, I mean, we all know who it is. I mean, count of three. 1, 2, 3. Sherry. But it's like, I hate when people go missing or like their husband or the wife or the person, whoever they dating.
Their significant other.
Yes, kill them. And they're like, oh, they was on drugs. They was doing this. They was doing that. I hate how they try to mess up their reputation because they effed up.
Right.
Like, that's the sickness part because she went through a lot. Let's be honest, Lisa went through a lot. She lost her sister, her brother, her mom, her dad. But it seemed like she had such a close-knit friend group. They never, like, let her get so depressed that she couldn't even get out the bed. It looked like they was always there for her.
Right.
And we are close where she went missing. The sad thing, crazy thing about it, I'm not going to tell you how far because it's, true crime.
And to me, there's no price for a loved one. So it's like she had already lost her whole family. Money was probably the least of her worries. I don't think that would have just brought her down.
And then it's like, we got to remember, she lost everybody, like, I say about around 2005. And she went missing in 2010. First said, oh, yeah, this affected her. No, it looked like she was doing good. She did get her family estate. She was living this life. But I don't feel like it was such a bad thing for her to commit suicide. We can look at different possibilities. We can say that she did just leave and she could not take it no more. Her life was going downhill and she like, hey, let me get a fresh start. We can look at that possibility. Then we can look at that she did commit suicide. To me, the type of person, if she did commit suicide, I feel like she would wrote a letter to her friends. She would explain to her friends of why she did this. I feel like that's a big thing if she did commit suicide. We can look at Sherry. I mean, it's a big possibility to her, but you can kind of see the person she is. She liked money. I feel like she was very money hungry. And I feel like Lisa wasn't. It seemed like Lisa had her life to the T. When she lost her job, she did have that big money that she got from her family. And then that money went away easily. I think Sherry probably took a lot of that money and lived the fast life. And then Lisa had to go to her friends and say, hey, I need to borrow money to help me out. Let's be honest, that's some amazing friends because they gave her the money with no question, no ask. Let me tell you something. I'm a little nosy. I'm like, girl, for what? I mean, I'm still going to give it to you. I just want to know why. I'm kind of nosy. But I mean, that's just me. I'm a little nosy. But it seemed like her and her friends had a deep sisterhood. I think she already went to her friend that day and said, hey, like she spilled so much to her friend and broke down and said, hey, this is going on in my life. And for whatever she said, for her friend to say, hey, you need to get out. Something had to be very dangerous for her friend because she was with this woman for 15 years. Her friend not going to say, get out, leave this woman. Whatever conversation they had that day, it was something bad. And it's a good thing that her friend never came out and said what that conversation was about because, she probably was like protecting her friend. But sad thing about Lisa did go back. And we know in a lot of toxic relationships, people do like have a cycle. You break up, you argue, you get back together, you in a honeymoon stage, and the cycle go on and on. And it seemed like Lisa and Sherry was in that cycle because they've been together for 15 years. And she was 51 years old. She probably like, you know what? This is my life now. And most people think that when they get to that age. But to me, it's never too late to restart your life or start from the beginning. Like,
Right.
take that jump. I don't care you've been with somebody for 20 years. If you're not in love and they bringing you down and they're toxic, leave them. And I feel like Sherry probably wanted more money and Lisa was probably tired of footing the bill. She's like, you know what? No. And I think a big argument happened in that bathroom because it seemed like that's the place that everything happened because it was so clean. I wonder if the police, I watched so many CSI and NCIS, so don't judge me. I wonder if they could go in their bathroom and do a light and see if any drop of blood is in there. Because even though she cleaned it with bleach don't get out everything. Trust me, I have a 2-year-old. It don't get out everything. If something's still left in that bathroom, they did not probably look into really.
Right, I agree with you. So honestly, like, I want to focus more on Sherry.
Okay.
The way that she reacted to her disappearance. To me, that's not the way that I would react. Honestly, if my significant other disappeared, yes, not every couple is perfect. There's fights, there's disagreements. If you truly love that person, you're going to want to honor them. So instead, I would probably try and, first of all, grieve on my own. I would slowly try and seek her friends, people that were part of her life. It's like an extension of her. It's not going to be her. But you can talk about the memories that they shared together, you shared together. It's just, I don't know, to me, it's sacred. It's something sacred, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So the way that Sherry reacted to me was the total opposite. She was basically tainting who Lisa was.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason people didn't believe her is because Lisa was very open with her friends, so they knew her on a deeper level. She would always reach out. She always had a smile. She always showed them love. So for her to just do a 180, it wasn't like her. And I really am proud of the fact that her friends are still out there fighting for her. Like, that is amazing. Like, I wish I, one day have friends like that.
Speak. Clock it. I recently lost somebody, right? And I feel like sometimes the people above bring you things that you never know, like a little flicker of hope. It's crazy how her friend drove to her house like, I'm going to confront Sherry. I'm going to get Sherry. And then I know her, she saw Sherry at a red light out of nowhere. Think about this, out of nowhere. And then she saw Sherry put all of Lisa's stuff in a dumpster.
Mhm.
Like, she was right there in that moment. Do you think, like, hopefully, like, we don't want to say Lisa is deceased, but I mean, it is a possibility. Like, if Lisa just, like, told her friend, like, get her, like, this is the moment, like, this is the proof you guys might need, like, kind of showing her, like, the path to, help solve the case.
Mhm.
I mean, we watched a Netflix documentary, and I cannot think the name. You remember, a woman gave her daughter for adoption. And
Girl on Fire or something?
The Girl on Fire, I think it is. Correct us if we're wrong. But you remember she kept saying it was one spot in the person's old house that her daughter was right there. Trust her. And nobody believed her. And when they look into their backyard, the daughter was there because she felt like her daughter was calling her and telling her like, hey, I'm here.
Right.
I wonder if Lisa came and was like telling their friend, go follow her. It's time to get out now. Like, and her friend listened to her in that moment.
Right.
Because the thing about it, that's crazy that she was there in that moment out of nowhere. That she found the proof. Like, even though it's the proof, they didn't do nothing about it. But I mean, it's still a big thing that kind of helped the police. Like, okay, she didn't just run away because that's the police believe. I mean, all police trip me out when they're like, oh, it's no foul play. It's no evidence. Do something. Like, what makes me mad is they always say it's no evidence. It's just they ran away. I'm so tired of that line.
Mhm.
Like, I am so sick of them saying it. It's so annoying. And one thing it is that it tricks me out. When people kill their loved one, like their spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, they always look so obvious because they don't do the work. Like, I'm like, if you, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but if you unalive somebody, at least try to do some flyers or something, like go out there like, hey, trying to find my wife or my boyfriend or something like that. You so obvious because you're not even doing it. You don't even seem worried. Think about it. If Sherry went out and like called her friends that day and were like, hey, do you know where Lisa at? Lisa left. We got into a fight. I don't know where she is. It'll be a different story. Her friends wouldn't have the proof. She'd be nervous like, oh my God, we got to find her. We got to go to the hospital. We got to go here. We be talking about a different story because Sherry did the work. And then if they start like questioning her, and like, she's like, I've been here from the beginning. I worked my butt off, but she didn't. And now they question her.
But instead, she is distancing herself and going and hiding, basically saying, oh, they're harassing me and all that other stuff. The thing with Sherry, too, the red flag, was her stealing her dad's money, or Lisa's dad's money.
First of all, Lisa, sister, we should have left her with the trash. We do not. That's a red flag. First of all, you're not going to take from my parent. If you took from my mom, there's no conversation. I'm sorry. First of all, my mom probably won't even deal with you no more. And $8,000, that's a lot. That is a lot. That probably was his savings. That probably was his mortgage or anything. You took his money? Girl, we couldn't even talk no more. You couldn't even look at me.
I couldn't trust you at that point. Lisa was so forgiving, I feel.
It just sucked that, I'm just mad at the police because I hate when they start so late in the case because they lose so much time.
It was just such a coincidence that as soon as the money ran out,
Lisa was gone.
And even like the friends were helping her financially. It eventually came to a stop because nobody's going to really like support you. You have to do the work yourself, honestly. And I feel like once Sherry didn't have a reason to keep her around, she was kind of like, okay, it's time for you to go.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what Sherry, the argument could have been about financial. That's a lot of big arguments in relationships with couples. It's financial. Like if somebody lose their job or somebody don't have money, you're going to be angry at that person a lot of time because they're not bringing any money in. Mm-hmm. You doing all the work. And that's what Lisa probably was getting fed up with. Like, you stole from my dad. The money that we had, we could have saved so much money because they had over $300K. They could have paid off their house in that time period too and still live a comfortable life or get like a side gig. But it went through so fast. I mean, it could have paid off our house. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's just, Sherry is the person, but it's crazy because it's like, to me, I'm like, Sherry, did you ever really love Lisa? For you to treat her that way and you threw all of her stuff away. That's what I'm saying. I was one of my friends and they're like, sometimes killers are so dumb. Like they just do the dumbest thing. Like you threw all her stuff away in the garbage.
Unless you're guilty. Every time that you see her or her belongings, it haunts you in a way. So maybe that's why she got rid of it, because she felt some sort of guilt. Like Lisa was watching her. Lisa was still there.
Oh, you remember when the neighbor saw her running from the forest?
Yes.
Do you think she like, oh, like somebody's watching me? Do you think that was like her subconscious and it was actually Lisa like look what you done to me, like getting at her a little
Unless
bit?
she was paranoid and that's where she buried Lisa.
Yeah, she was going down there to see if the body was still there. I think the body probably is there because why would she go in that back of the woods? Why?
Right.
You only going to check on a body. I wonder if like the friends or even like the community can do a good like search of that area, like get some drones, get some search dogs, get something to, I mean, the police did search her, but like technology now.
It probably wasn't a thorough investigation.
I heard this case, it was back in, I think, Australia, and the guy, he unalived him and he put him in the ground and a tree like grew on top of him. And that's why the police could never find him, because like every time they looked, it was because that tree and the roots was all over him and they could never like cut that tree down because it was something. But that could be another possibility too.
That's smart.
Don't get any ideas.
I've heard about the dog, but not a tree.
I mean, that was pure luck. Let's just be honest. That was pure luck. I mean, he never went to jail because he signed some paperwork to get the body. But yeah, tell us your thoughts and theories on this case. Please let us know. I want to hear what you guys think that happened to Lisa. Tell me, who do you think hurt Lisa, and could she be found? And what I say, in every case is solvable. It just takes the right detective to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
We're on all social medias. We're on TikTok until it get banned again. We never know. We on Instagram. We on Facebook. We have a group. Join our group, and we talk about the case all the time in the group. Are we on all podcast platforms? Give us that 5-star rating. Go on YouTube and subscribe, comment, and like. Tell your friends about us. Tell everybody about us. And if you have a case suggestions, please email us, inbox us. Do anything to tell us, because I will do it. I have so many cases that I have coming up. Please let us know. And this is Lesbian Detective. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are signing out. Don't forget, everybody's suspect
Until proven innocent.
Bye.
Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases.
She's still missing. Yeah,
They haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it. They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break? Or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must. Right now. Lesbian detectives. Lesbian detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready to go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.